So I'm starting to really feel bad for Kyle Rittenhouse as he continues to go through these lawsuits. He has to continue to live through this BS and prove that he's innocent over and over and over. Like, it's not enough for the court, the criminal court, to rule that he was innocent. Now he has to go through multiple civil lawsuits and prove his innocence in the civil court, which is different. You know, it could be a different result. It's pretty stupid that you can be proven innocent in a criminal court and then proven guilty in a civil court. But that's the world that we live in, man. That's the country that we live in. So we got to follow the law. I think that he'll be fine personally, but who knows, man? It really just depends on who the judge is and how they're feeling and what evidence Gaige Grosskreutz has to present. But we know that Gaige Grosskreutz was one of the main reasons why Kyle was found innocent in the first place in court. So I don't see him having some like compelling evidence, because you can literally just use his testimony. I'm not sure if this is allowed or not, but if they just use Gaige's testimony from the Kyle Rittenhouse criminal trial, it would pretty much prove Kyle's innocence in civil court as well. I'm not sure if there's some like law against not being able to use that testimony in the civil court, but dude, he admitted multiple times like things that pretty much proved Kyle's innocence. I remember him testifying. I remember the lawyers reacting in a very strong way. The ones who were on Gaige's side reacting in a very negative way, and the ones on Kyle's side smiling and happy for what Gaige was saying while on the stand. Anyway, Gaige Grosskreutz sues Kyle Rittenhouse for shooting him. Kyle Rittenhouse made some statements in here as well that are pretty interesting. Gaige Grosskreutz, the man injured by Kyle Rittenhouse after he was shot during the Kenosha riots of 2020, has filed a lawsuit against Kyle Rittenhouse and local police and officials. According to Fox News, Grosskreutz is seeking economic losses, damages for emotional distress, humiliation, loss of enjoyment of life, and other pain and suffering on all claims, and punitive damages. Astonishingly, the Kenosha Police Department, Kenosha County Sheriff's Department, their supervising officials and police officers and law enforcement officers from surrounding communities did not treat defendant Rittenhouse or any of the other armed individuals patrolling the streets as a threat to safety of themselves or the citizens they were sworn to protect. The lawsuit filed on February 14 states. Instead, the law enforcement defendant deputized these armed individuals, conspired with them, and ratified their actions by letting them patrol the streets armed with deadly weapons to mete out justice as they saw fit. So he's complaining about the people that were patrolling the streets with rifles, but not complaining about the people burning down buildings, breaking windows, and looting the buildings. Like, what? Like, this... We live in a clown world, man. I don't know how much longer I can take this shit, man. Said the lawsuit filed by Ascend Counsel attorneys Kimberly Motley of Motley Legal Services. Rittenhouse told Fox News that he was ready to prove my innocence again, though that action would come with a high price tag, adding that the lawsuit came as a little bit of a shock. I guess it came as a shock to why he's filing the lawsuit, because he admitted that he pointed a gun at my face and chased me down, Rittenhouse added. The lawsuit also lists as defendants the city of Kenosha, Kenosha County, 5 other neighboring counties' police officers, former Kenosha County Sheriff David Beth, and former Kenosha Police Chief Daniel Miskins, according to Fox News. During the 21 trial of Rittenhouse, who was charged with 2 counts of homicide and 1 count of attempted homicide for the fatal shootings of Joseph Rosenbaum, 36, and Anthony Huber, and the shooting of Grosskreutz, which resulted in an injury, Grosskreutz testified... Dude, that's such a hard name to say. Grosskreutz testified that he pointed a firearm at Rittenhouse before the then 17-year-old shot him in his arm. The riots, which sparked on August 23, 2020, came in response to the police shooting of Jacob Blake and followed close on the heels of the protests and the riots that popped up during, you know, those people I don't want to say on YouTube too many times, but you understand why there was riots and everything. Rittenhouse said that he went to Kenosha with an AR-style rifle to protect businesses from damage, and the shootings were in self-defense, while Grosskreutz joined the protest. I mean, we already know that, dude. Grosskreutz almost said it verbatim himself that he was acting in self-defense. He only shot once he was, assaulted by Grosskreutz. And like, it is pretty ridiculous. On one end, it's ridiculous that you have to go prove yourself in a civil court for something that you've already proven that he was innocent on all counts in the criminal court. It's insane to me that that's the case. Like I said, man, we got to follow the laws of the country. Like, there's nothing we can really do about it at this point. He has to just go prove himself. But it's just unfortunate because I don't know what these people are hoping to gain out of this. I don't know if they really think that they could win this the civil suit. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. Maybe they could win it. I really have no idea. But if this is a case of, like I think, it's obviously going to be a win for Kyle Rittenhouse. I just wonder what their incentive is for filing these lawsuits and for taking Kyle Rittenhouse to court again. Because this is really hurting Kyle. I know that he's not like extremely rich. I'm sure that he has a decent bit of money ever since everything went down. He's become kind of a household name, especially on the right. But I'm sure he's not like filthy rich. This is going to cost him a lot of money, dude. This stuff is not is not cheap. You know, it's going to be pretty expensive. And he even said that. And I think he's going to crowdfund it, or attempt to crowdfund it anyway. And, you know, I just feel for him, dude, because not only is it a financial hit, but it's also an emotional and mental hit, because we saw him, dude. If you watch the trial, you know that those tears weren't fake, dude. And that wasn't sad tears either. That wasn't like, I'm so sad that this is happening tears. That was trauma tears, dude. That was PTSD tears. And I'm not talking trauma like these horoscope girls try to say, like their dad screamed at them pretty loudly one time and now their entire personality revolves around the trauma of that. I'm talking about real like PTSD type attack. Like that was like hyperventilating while tears were coming out of his eyes. That was some real stuff, dude. And the fact that he has to keep reliving that type of thing over and over again, I just feel for him, dude. Like, I don't think that he should have to go through that. But like I said, we live in the country and we got to abide by the rules. The lawsuit from Grosskreutz argues that he approached his hands with his hands in the air to try to ease the situation. So he has to straight up lie in the civil suit. Like I said, if they just go to his testimony and in the criminal case that he already had, like he already admitted this right here, this statement is a lie. That's not the truth. He approached him with a gun in his hand, with a gun pointed at him. He has to lie in the civil suit if they're allowed to use his testimony. Then Rittenhouse is going to win this pretty easily. Defendant Rittenhouse instead shot Mr. Grosskreutz in the bicep, leaving a gaping wound. Thankfully, Mr. Grosskreutz did not die that day, the lawsuit says, but he must live with the physical and emotional wounds inflicted by defendant Rittenhouse and the defendant who deputized and enabled him. The conduct of the defendants in this case is directly caused by Gaige Grosskreutz's injury. On November 19th, 21, after 4 days of deliberations, a jury found Rittenhouse not guilty on all charges. Assistant District Attorney Thomas Binger argued that Rittenhouse had his life threatened by Rosenbaum, was beaten by a skateboard by Huber, and was finally threatened with a handgun by Gaige Grosskreutz, and that Rittenhouse acted in self-defense. The lawsuit was filed 2 weeks after a federal judge in Wisconsin ruled that a wrongful death lawsuit filed by the father of Huber could proceed against Rittenhouse, police officers and officials, according to the Associated Press. Yeah, I think that he also got another lawsuit filed against him, or maybe it was just the fact that they said the wrongful death lawsuit by the father of Huber could proceed. So I'm not sure if that means it's like officially filed against him, like he's officially being sued by the father of Anthony Huber, but he might have 2 lawsuits that he's fighting at the same time. And that, like I said, man, that just really sucks for him, not just for his pocketbooks, not just because it's expensive, but also because he has to relive the situation over and over and over again. And it's probably really tough for him, dude. Like I said, we saw him during the trial. Like he did not look like, you know, it didn't look like he was processing it very well, dude. It looked like he was not happy that he had to go through that. Like, I don't think he was the type of person that would go there for something like that to happen. I don't think he wanted that to happen. And you could tell by his reaction. He's just not that type of person, you know? And it sucks that he has to continue to live through that scenario just over and over again, and also hurt his pocketbooks quite a bit. So let me know what you guys think about the whole situation. What do you think about Kyle Rittenhouse being sued? Once again, let me know what you think about the entire situation. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you on the next one.